All right, now trying to balance the audio. We start in about 2 minutes. Our show Blazing with Buju every Wednesday at 4:20 p.m. celebrating Buju Banton's freedom and learning from a lot of Buju Banton's hard life lessons. Let me just get this regulated a little bit better, and I'm going to throw on a few of his songs from his concert, the Long Walk to Freedom concert that kicked off on March 16th in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. Let me just play you a couple of the live versions of his songs. These are his classics. For one that I haven't heard him play, though, I'm going to fire this one up first. This is Have Mercy on Me. Just a hymn. It's beautiful, wonderful, and calming. So if you need a little bit of break, a little bit of de-stressor, this is that. But later on in the show, we're going to talk about some of the conflict between Buju Banton and his son Marcus Myrie, which is, Buju Banton's birth name. But he named his son Marcus Myrie after him, and he's been the most prominent in Jamaican dancehall music since Buju Banton went away. Him and Beanie Man and maybe a few others. But with Buju Banton, I mean, he really has been the king of dancehall for many, many years. He started when he was like 15 years old, back in the 90s, early 90s, where he had kind of a crew cut. It was a whole different look, a whole different vibe. He was a different dude. He's learned a lot of lessons, and I'm going to play you this, just as Have Mercy on Me from his live show, and then I'm going to get back to it. Hopefully my audio will be a little bit better. If not, when I put this on YouTube later as an archive, I'll fix the audio. Anyway, here's Have Mercy on Me, Buju Banton from the Long Walk to Freedom tour. I'll talk about the Long Walk of Freedom later as well.
Oh, Lamb of God, I come, have mercy on me. Oh, Lamb of God, in defense of my life, make it to your bending knees, Father, I plead, I come. I am on bending knees, Father, I plead, oh, I am on bending knees to make I plead. Now
Alright, now there is a reason why we call this Blazing with Buju. It's because right now I'm blazing, self-medicating with God's herb, the anointing oil ingredient canabosum, otherwise known as fragrant cane if you read the Septuagint forward. But if you want to read it in Hebrew, canabosum, and the way it translates is that it is hemp, cannabis, marijuana, and my sacrament, as well as many others in this world. So I am blazing with Buju right now. We're going to listen to some more Buju. This is Probation, and we'll get into some of the politics and some of the good news and some of the bad news and some of the lessons learned. It's always about lessons learned, people. If we don't learn lessons, you're going to continue to repeat bad behavior or problems that, could easily be fixed just by reflection. So take a little time out, roll up a fat spliff. Let's do some blazing with Buju. This is Ryan at Disruptarian Radio, and I'm going to spin some Probation by Buju Banton. Something apparently he is facing right now, but a free man nonetheless, semi-free. Here's Probation.
Out of station, but I'm a bad man and I run from probation. Until I must be madman, ambulance siren. Guy here we want bad boy that take fence. Police pump patrol, carrel evidence. Make sure you know what leap tactics on the fence. I'm out of body, don't I'm mad, no make sense. 5 a.m. in the morning, I will see so. Wake up with a gun, but from my man just in a blow. Me could do make them out, me eye barely open. Come in on me house and I ask a oh yo. Me see 3 more of them jump me fence in a bed. We rifle upon them back and helmet over them head. Once a boy make a funny move, I tell you dead. And you me come for you no know you wanted. I know people wonder how me make a escape. Jump through the roof, me could not take it to the gate. Them man out, they no intend to wait. And them can't make a boy like me escape. Wanted you out of station. Say them a mad man and I run from probation. Until I must see madman, ambulance siren. Them all a run from wanted out of station. Say them a madman and I run from probation. Until I must see madman, ambulance siren. Jumping Jimmy Bean from over Papine. 2.5 days now since him jumping. From probation, can't do nothing wrong. Arrest them, put him back straight in the can. Take out him John, give some signal. Well in farmer hear that I'm called the corporal. Him drape up him mama, pass down him gal. Pass down him gal, pass down him gal. Oh mama, I will wish him no know fi find bean. What kind of sin thing him mix up in? What kind of sin thing? What kind of sin thing? What? Tell this big old woman walk fast. Now you see where carelessness cast. Bounce your bad, John Law are the bigger boss. Guy here we want bad boy that take fence. Police pump patrol, carrel evidence. Make sure you know what leave tactics on the fence. I'm out of body, don't I'm mad, no make sense. 5 a.m. in the morning, I will see so. Wake up with a gun, but from my man just in a blow. Me go to make them out, me eye barely open. Come in on me house and I ask a oh yo. Me see 3 more of them jump me fence in a bed. We rifle upon them back and helmet over them head. Once a boy make a funny move, I tell you dead. Are you me come for you no know you wanted. I know. Until why you come for you no know you wanted. I know people wonder how me make a escape. Jump through the roof, me could not take it to the gate. Them man out, they no intend to wait. Jump through the roof, me could not take it to the gate. Them man out, they no intend to wait. And them can't make a one like me escape. Here we want bad boy that take fence. Police pump patrol, carrel evidence. Here we want bad boy that take fence. Police pump patrol. Here we want bad boy that take fence. Police pump patrol, carrel evidence. Here we want bad boy that take fence. But from my man just in a blow. Me go to make them out, me eye barely open. Coming nearly open. Coming on me house and I ask a oh yo. Me see 3 more of them jump me fence in a bed. We rifle upon them back and helmet over them head. Once a boy make a funny move, I tell you dead. Are you me come for you no know you wanted. I know. Until why you come for you no know you wanted. I know people wonder how me make a escape. Jump through the roof, me could not take it to the gate. Them man out, they no intend to wait. Jump through the roof, me could not take it to the gate. Them man out, they no intend to wait. And them can't make a one like me escape. Here we want bad boy that take fence. Police pump patrol, carrel evidence. Here we want bad boy that take fence. Police pump patrol. Here we want bad boy that take fence. Police pump patrol, carrel evidence. Here we want bad boy that take fence. Police pump patrol.
All right. So having a little fun with that one. The Long Walk to Freedom was a book published by former South African president Nelson Mandela, who led sort of a freedom revolution, peaceful freedom revolution from South Africa, although was associated with militants and other problematic approaches, I guess, in the former government's eyes, was detained, I think, for over a decade. It could have very well been 20 years. I have to look that up. But anyway, the Long Walk to Freedom, which is what Buju Banton has adopted, for his Freedom Tour that he's just launched. And this first concert, which I'm going to play you a couple of clips of, was March 16th, 2019, just a few days ago. So today's the 20th of March. So I've been looking forward to that since I started broadcasting about it in 2009 on Ex-Cannabis COM on YouTube and on our former radio station, Sensi Life. You can see some of Sensi Life at Blog Talk Radio. But we've been looking forward to this for a very long time. So Nelson Mandela wrote this in 1994. It's called The Long Walk to Freedom. I have skipped through it. I don't believe I've read the whole book. I don't recall reading 630 pages of this, but I have skipped through this. I found it once or twice at the library, so it's a good read. He's inspirational for sure. I mean, a lot like Gandhi, with a more emotional response, at least a more creative response rather than arms and war. Approaching it in a very, I guess, emotionally hostile way, and in some ways a militant way. But when change needs to happen, just like in 1776 in the United States, it's not always going to be peaceful. And same with Marcus Myrie and his father, Buju Banton, or Marcus Myrie Sr., I guess we could call him. Buju Banton apparently beat the hell out of his son. His son started calling him a batty rider and just making quips at him and stuff publicly, and making accusations that in prison he wasn't straight, that he was apparently a homosexual and stuff. So apparently there was a big altercation, and to rid Buju Banton from Marcus Myrie's life, Marcus Myrie calls the police and says that Buju assaulted him. Well, of course he assaulted you. You're a grown-ass man. You're bigger than this guy, right? That's to Marcus Myrie. He's a big dude. He attacked his, father. He's in his 50s. He spent 10 years in prison. Has been fighting the good fight and has been, taking care of them financially while in prison. Well, this guy's got some pent-up anger, just like my father's family from his previous marriage had some pent-up anger and made some pretty heavy accusations about him, and it incited an emotional response. The only problem, I don't have a problem with any of that. That's between them. And I really don't have much of a problem beyond that, other than Marcus Myrie, the son, this dude's a big dude, called the police right before his father's show claiming assault, which I would assume was a violation of his probation in the United States. If he's out assaulting people and he gets charged with that, he's going back to prison in the United States to live out the rest of his sentence, because he got out on good time release, on probation, I'm sure. I can't confirm how long that is, but he's only been out for a few months. He got out like the 8th of December, and it's now March 20th, so less than 4 months. Maybe about 4 months. But anyway, he could go back for another year or two if this happened, if this assault charge was successful from his son. Now, as far as I understand it, they have made some amends. His son has came out and given an apology. But that's just a really shitty thing to do, to get the cops involved. I really think boxing and dueling should be the two ways to solve a problem. If it gets serious. Not getting the cops involved, owning your own shit, standing up for yourself, and facing the music like a man or a woman, but standing up to your problems. So I had a problem with a family member. I offered to take him to a boxing ring. They didn't meet me in the boxing ring. Instead, they called the cops on me, tried to get me a misdemeanor charge for disorderly conduct, I think. Anyway, I beat the charge, and since they came to me with the fight, they got a charge that stuck on the same occasion. And I'll play one of the clips from one of these. I think if you just look up opinions.clovistar.com/self-defense, you can see what I posted from the public record of this court case where the police interviewed me and they asked me if I wanted to press charges, and the initial response was, no, this is family, we can deal with this on our own. I asked the cop if it was legal to ask somebody to box. He affirmed yes. So then I offered them the box in a boxing ring of this court case where the police interviewed me and they asked me if I wanted to press charges, and the initial response was, no, this is family, we can deal with this on our own. I asked the cop if it was legal to ask somebody to box. He affirmed yes. So then I offered them the box in a boxing ring. This guy stands a foot taller than me at least. He's damn near 6'8" or 6'10". I'm 5'8", so something like that. And you know, he's this big biker dude. I had just gotten out of surgery. I had 45 fractures, and it was less than a year after that, after I had been in a wheelchair for like 7 months. And anyway, I'm not going to talk much about me. This is just something I can relate to. I'm going to play a little bit from this issue with Buju Banton and his son, and it strikes a chord with me. But I'm gonna let this be about Buju. This is a major celebration that he's out, and it seems like he squashed this issue with his son. But let me just play a little clip from. This is SoFlo TV on YouTube. I just took their clip, so credit to them, SoFlo TV. I'll put a link in the description and give them full credit on the archive at Disruptarian.com. All right, SoFlo TV, this is about a couple issues, but I've skipped forward, and I'm only going to play a few minutes of this.
No, because we're going to talk about the whole Buju Banton and Marcus thing, and we're going to go through the notes that he left recently on his Instagram that he educated us or gave us some more insight as to what the fight might really be about. So end of the day, people who are talking about is because Marcus had the D-Angel and DDD, that's the reason why him and him father fight. That rumor is dispelled. It's not the reason why, okay? It's not the reason why. Now, I woke up the other morning and I saw this, because I do follow him on Instagram. I saw this picture right here and I thought, wow, time for healing. They're back together again. Yes, perfect. And he wrote this. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. I am a man, one who refused to carry the burdens of the past into the future that will see me with children. For their sake, I will break the generational curse. My only regret is that I allowed myself to get so blinded by anger that I said things about my father and to the public that I shouldn't have said. But let he who is without sin cast the first stone. I have no hatred in my heart for my father. So I don't know if you know it. He actually wrote stuff like Buju Banton is the man that sing Boom Bye Bye, and how would you feel if that was your father and you wake up to find out that your father is one of the biggest Batman in Jamaica. And if you followed my other video, what that I did with the initial argument kicked off on social media, I said that that was very distasteful and it was wrong, because Buju is coming from almost a decade in the United States of America prison system, and you know how things go there, and it's a very touchy subject, no pun intended, when you start talking about you find out that your daddy are the biggest Batman and him sing Boom Bye Bye and all these things, right? So right now, this is what he came forward with. He's saying that that is his only regret. His only regret was actually putting stuff like that. My only disappointment is the undelivered expectation in Jamaica. And if you followed my other video, what that I did with the initial argument kicked off on social media, I said that that was very distasteful and it was wrong, because Buju is coming from almost a decade in the United States of America prison system, and you know how things go there, And it's a very touchy subject, no pun intended, when you start talking about you find out that your daddy are the biggest Batman and him sing Boom Bye Bye and all these things, right? So right now, this is what he came for. Intended when you start talking about you find out that your daddy are the biggest Batman and him sing Boom Bye Bye and all these things, right? So right now, this is what he came forward with. He's saying that that is his only regret. His only regret was actually putting stuff like that. My only disappointment is the undelivered expectations of a father who refuses to see fatherhood as more than just a title and financial support. So in other words, for you nengi people out there, he's letting you know that his dad does support them financially, so him good dessa, but he wants more out of that from his dad. My only disappointment is the undelivered expectations of a father that refuses to see fatherhood as more than just a title and financial support. In other words, he must say Buju need to do more for the picnic them, right? Title as father and financial support is just not enough. Your absence has nothing to do with prison, and you know that. That is directly speaking to Buju Banton. So I'm guessing right here that they're not speaking to each other directly, so he had to put it out there this way. Your absence has nothing to do with prison, and you know that. In other words, he's probably saying you was absent way before prison and you're absent after now, right? Still, I forgive you regardless. You were never there for me, pretty much is what I'm getting from this. I hope one day you decide to be a better father. Don't do it for me. Do it for my siblings who are suffering emotionally, is what he's saying. So in other words,
and anyway, there's more to the story, and apparently this ends up in an apology from the son, and Buju and his son squashing this and having a picture together. So since all this fell out on the night of Buju Banton's new tour that he kicked off in Kingston, Jamaica, the Long Walk to Freedom tour, Buju Banton's son tries to get him sent back to prison that same night. So I just say that's a bitch move. You know, leave the cops out of it. If you want to handle something with somebody, be a man, meet them in the boxing ring. You know, and if you meet in the boxing ring and you lose, don't call the cops. You know, that's a mano a mano thing. That is not law enforcement ready. Unless there's some unfair advantage and they jump you with like 6 guys. I mean, that's different. But, you know, handle your business. If it's just you and your dad and you're boxing it out, that's what happens. You know, I had a little boxing match with my dad when I was 17. Now, he's former military, was in the military for 20-something. In Kingston, Jamaica, the Long Walk to Freedom tour, Buju Banton's son tries to get him sent back to prison that same night. So I just say that's a bitch move. You know, leave the cops out of it. If you want to handle something with somebody, be a man, meet them in the boxing ring. You know, and if you meet in the boxing ring and you lose, don't call the cops. You know, that's a mano thing. That is not law enforcement ready. Unless there's some unfair advantage and they jump you with like 6 guys. I mean, that's different. But, you know, handle your business. If it's just you and your dad and you're boxing it out, that's what happens. You know, I had a little boxing match with my dad when I was 17. Now, he's former military, was in the military for 20-something years in reserves and in active duty, and was working at a steel plant in labor, doing labor all day, but, you know, buff, strong, ripped in the prime of his life. And he and I had some business, and he ended up hitting me a few times. I ended up hitting him. I walked away. Apparently he had a concussion. He didn't call the cops, but my mom did, and made this big fuss. And I almost went to jail for a lot more than, you know, slapping my dad. You know, I had plants in the basement that I had to eat before the cops got there. So I ate all the plants. I got out of there. I forgot that I had an ounce of weed. So I just got a Class B misdemeanor for possession of cannabis, which I would have not otherwise had if my dad had not been interested in fighting me, you know, and keeping my car, my keys to my car away from me, which is all, you know, it was all mine. I'd worked my whole life for this, and I started working when I was 14. Anyway, we squashed out without the cops. There was no reason for the cops to get involved, and, you know, in the end, they just said, no, that's a civil issue. He's not pressing charges. You're good to go. And it didn't result in much, but I did go in for a misdemeanor marijuana charge, which could have been a lot more. It could have been a felony if I would have got caught with plants. at that time in Utah back in the 90s, back in like 94, 95. I was like 17, I guess, so 94. No, handle your business without the police, especially if you're a grown-ass man. I mean, this son of his, Marcus Myrie, actually stands about a foot taller than Buju Banton. I've seen a couple of pictures. At least that's what it looks like to me. So let's play Not an Easy Road. No. Let's play Close One Yesterday. This seems fitting. I've had some of the same close calls as Buju Banton had. Mind you, Buju Banton went to prison for a conspiracy to commit a crime. Like, they didn't get him on any kind of racketeering, I don't believe. I think it was just a conspiracy to commit such a crime. Or anyway, this is my understanding of it. All I know is there was no victims. Let me play you Close One Yesterday. This is live, March 16, 2019. Lord, help me. What did I say? Not an easy road. Ever you ever. Oh no. Who feels enough? Now where were we? From the minute of birth, I have entered this earth. Obstacles in my way. Oh yeah, I search every day. Lord, we got first. You pass away this earth. Turn your hammer. Take a country way. I have no time to rest. Oh no. It's an easy road. It's not an easy road. It's not an easy road. Why? What did I say? I said it's not an easy road. Ever you ever. Oh no. Who feels enough? I rise a citizen. They want to put me down. Born to discredit works that I have done. They are not satisfied, even though I try. Oh Jamaica, I have got to slip on. Oh my head. Put your hold up your head. And now I've got to hold up my head. If I'm ready, tired and triggered, I have no time to rest. That's an easy road. Greetings in the name of the Most High. Shout! That's an easy road. I had a close one yesterday. I had a close one. Jump for your head. Yes, when I first meditation. One day, don't you go down. Think about that water. Yeah, one day. Yes, when I first meditation. One day. Credit to Onstage TV on YouTube. I miss you so much. All right. So Onstage TV has provided quite a bit of this media, so I want to give a shout out to them on YouTube. I'm going to play a little bit more from their clips of this historic event, since it's been almost 10 years. I guess it's been about 9 years since Buju Banton last did a concert. And this is his first world tour since he's been out of prison. First day on the tour in Kingston, Jamaica, March 16th, 2019. So I'm just glad to have been alive and present to broadcast this. There's been many a times where I just almost didn't made it, and I made it. Here we are. God bless.
Even though Buju Banton lock up, it's still rough. 8 years, 6 months, 27 days, 13 hours, 5 minutes, and 26 seconds. I'm gonna say, this is a disclaimer. No disrespect to no one. I'm talking about me. But we don't care in the media, when the business about the news video. 10 years of prison about no sexual abuse. No care that I'm a rector, now me ain't no abuse.
The question was answered in the very first song. Buju Banton is still Buju Banton.
10 years we wait for this now. Walk the walk and we talk the talk. I said tomorrow morning when I wake up, want somebody tell me, the most consummate artist that we have in Jamaica.
Gargamel, he reminded us.
I thought it was amazing.
Good stuff. I wish I hadn't missed it. We actually moved to the Caribbean. We bought a boat. We lived in St. Thomas, and then we moved to Puerto Rico. Lived in Fajardo, Puerto Rico, and at the end in Juncos, up in Ceiba Norte barrio. But we were waiting for Buju Banton to come out, and if I would have been close enough where the tickets were cheap enough, I would have been in Jamaica to see that show. No doubt. Big ups to Buju Banton, keeping it real. Never lost his emotional attachment and consciousness and morality and direction for his music. I mean, it's been pretty consistent since he was 15 years old. You got to give him credit for that. Now, he's got a lot of kids. His kids some of them are feeling neglected, feeling a little grumpy. But I'll guarantee you, this is one of the hottest dance hall musicians in Jamaica. His son, Marcus Myrie, Buju Banton's son. He didn't get there without Buju Banton's name. He owes a lot to his father. He's not giving him credit. He's an ungrateful little brat. His father was in prison for... He's not giving him credit. He's an ungrateful little brat. His father was in prison for almost 10 years. And before that, he was feeding 17 children. Give the boy a break. He's done well by you all. So, I mean, I don't know their inner workings and the ins and outs of the whole thing. But to lash out like your father like that, instead of, like the Bible says, in the unrepentive brother... go to your brother between you and yourself. If he does not repent, take with you a witness or more than one witness. And if he still does not repent, take him before the church. So I guess church, and especially when you're both musicians, your church is going to be the media, the public, the fans, the congregation, as it would be the church, the congregation, same thing. So I feel bad for them. My heart bleeds, and I'm praying for their, final resolve, and they can resolve their family differences and get back into music. I mean, they could make such a great team. They have both a lot to offer. Buju Banton earned a master's degree from, I believe it was New York. The reggae artist is an inmate at McRae Correctional Facility in Atlanta, Georgia, after the arrest in December 2009 in Miami with over 5 kilograms of cocaine, which he didn't have. That was not on him, by the way. Buju Banton earned a master's degree while in prison. His 2-count charge of conspiracy to distribute and possession of the substance saw him receive a 10-year sentence. Anyway, so he earned a master's degree in prison in, let me just make sure, in music business management from the University of New York. So that's just something I read from while he was still incarcerated. But that was December 6, 2018 from freedomskn.com. Buju Banton earned master's degree while in prison. They have so much to offer each other. Both are hot artists. Both have, a lot of experience and connections in the music industry. And with Buju Banton being out and Marcus Myrie being an adult now, his son, having grown up in music, is now one of the leaders in music, especially in that Jamaican dancehall scene. I pray for their resolve. I pray for the hurt and the, neglect and whatever to be healed and squashed. So let's just play Give I Strength. This is an older one, not from his show, but the other ones were from the live show. Close One Yesterday and Not an Easy Road. And also Have Mercy on Me was also from his live show. This one, I use this one for de-stressing sometimes. Stress is an issue with me, especially since my accident. So music is really my salvation in a lot of ways. I'm going to Give Us Strength, Buju Banton.
Rastafari, and this last side, we live the rules and reigns over all living things. King of all kings, rule all things.
Lord, give us strength. Never let I face to live out the greater part of my days. Give us strength. Jah, give us strength. Never let I face to live out the greater part of my days. Give us strength. Yeah. Indeed, I see pestilence and plague, but I'm not afraid. They are looking for what they can. Indeed, I see pestilence and plague, but I'm not afraid. They are looking for what they can take. Coming all size, appearing all shape. Lord, give us the vision to differentiate. Yeah, they wait, we shall escape. God who protect is greater than great. In all that we do, He holds our faith. Jah give us strength. Yeah. Never let I face. No, to live out the greater part of my days. Give us strength. Whoa, Jah, give us strength. Yeah. I never let I fail to live out the greater part of my days. Give us strength. Yeah. Teach the youths them right in the way they should grow. Joy is a stream, constantly flow. And I don't wanna be unhappy. Let me live till I'm great. I work hard to get paid. Keep out of tail bearers and backbiters.
Yes, yeah, I am sorry I missed that for sure. I would have been there no matter what if we were still in Puerto Rico. So let's lift up Puerto Rico in a prayer. Lord, please bless those people. Their government is mismanaged, needs direction. The people need more involvement. If, Lord, you can open up opportunities for the right people to step in and fix the infrastructure and the economy of Puerto Rico, I ask your will be done either way. Lord, just putting that out there in the ethos, whether that does good or not. I firmly believe in prayer. I believe in my wife would call it manifest destiny, although that's kind of an early and American economic system of some bad behavior by business. So I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that, but I get the meaning. Definitely manifest destiny. You manifest your own destiny. But I think putting that out in the ethos and focusing on that, and prayer in general, meditation, some people might call it, I see huge benefits in it. So that's just me. That doesn't have to be anybody else but me. I'm going to put circumstances, an oldie. I don't have many more already captured from his show. Beanie Man was there. There was a whole bunch of other stars there backing him up, dance hall stars mostly. Good bands, bands that I actually have on our playlist here, Coco T and a couple of others out there. So anyway, this is circumstances. I can relate to this. I don't know about you, but
Tom, is there any remorse within your heart for those people you've dealt in the past?
I see huge benefits in it. So that's just me. That doesn't have to be anybody else but me. Put circumstances, an oldie. I don't have many more already captured from his show. Beanie Man was there. There was a whole bunch of other stars there backing him up, dance hall stars mostly. Good bands, bands that I actually have on our playlist here, Coco T and a couple of others out there. So anyway, this is circumstances. I can relate to this. I don't know about you, but
Tom, is there any remorse within your heart for those people you've dealt in the past? Those who came across your path, their life they've lost. Sure. And he replied, say, circumstances made me what I am. Was I born a violent man? Circumstances made me what I am. Everyone should understand. Circumstances made me what I am. Was I born a violent man? Circumstances made me what I am. Everyone should know. May sound strange, might sound foolish, but things ain't getting better. Every day another fall victim to the beretta. Why is there so much violence killing with one another? Let us learn to love and let that light shine brighter. Bad influence, you influence the youth and get slaughtered. As bad man used to be, they respect the father. It's like no eyes, no realize the times get harder. Me talk all night with all my might and still is laughter. Circumstances made me what I am. Was I born a violent man? Circumstances made me what I am. And everything get slaughtered. As bad man used to be, they respect the father. It's like no eyes, no realize the times get harder. Me talk all night with all my might and still is laughter. Circumstances made me what I am. Was I born a violent man? Circumstances made me what I am. Was I born a violent man? Circumstances made me what I am. And everyone should know. Him say, when I try to cope, tell myself there is hope. It seems like the biggest joke. There is hope. It seems like the biggest joke. And as I put down the gun, still dollars must run. I know employment can't come. And me a jam and a cool one go back in a school. The system lick me. There's no hope for those who have not from the slum. Take the little much we have still hunting we done. I'm begging to show some love. When we get back, he replied, circumstances made me what I am. Was I born a violent man? Circumstances made me what I am, and everyone should know. Well, I know little cry, mama cry, papa cry too. She want the boy with a heart, and that could do. You know them find him dead with a Smith and Wesson. 6 weeks and change now, me a remiss. Why so much violence? Too much violence. It hurts my soul, and I won't keep silent. Circumstances made me what I am. That was his reply. I cry. Circumstances made me what I am. Everyone should know. May sound strange, might look foolish, but things ain't getting better. Every day another fall victim to the beretta. Why is there so much violence killing me one another? Let us learn to love and let that light shine brighter. Bad influence you influence the youth, them get slaughtered. As bad man used to be, them respect the father. It's like no eyes don't realize that times get harder. Attack a night with all my might and still is laughter. Circumstances made me what I am. Was I born a violent man? Circumstances made me what I am. And everyone should know now. And when I try to cope, tell myself there is hope. It seems like the biggest joke. And as I put down the gun, collateral must run. I know employment can't come. And me a think about cool, one go back in a school. The system lick me. There's no hope for those who have not from the slum. Take the little much we have, still hunting we down. How do we show some love? How do we get back some now? Circumstances made me what I am. Was I born a violent man? Circumstances made me what I am. Circumstances made me what I am. And everyone should know now. And when I try to cope, tell myself there is hope. It seems like the biggest joke. And as I put down the gun, collateral must run. I know employment can't come. And me a think about cool, one go back in a school. The system lick me. There's no hope for those who have not from the slum. Take the little much we have, still hunting we down. How do we show some love? How do we get back some now? Circumstances made me what I am. Was I born a violent man? Circumstances made me what I am. Every man should know. Oh, circumstances.
Yes, circumstances. So I'm sure as many American mainlanders as Jamaicans would see a white person, or as they may call me in Hawaii, a haole, culturally appropriating this music. And I think this is so beyond racial lines, and I see a race as a species, and I see us all as the human race. But even ethnicities and nationalities, this music goes far and beyond. This transcends all of those minor cultural barriers like gender and nationality and ethnicity, in my opinion. There's so many that I want to play, but I know that if I can continue to play the same artist over and over, I will get a DCMA issue. So I'm going to play just an interview with him. It's just called Interlingua. This is Buju Banton, in my opinion. There's so many that I want to play, but I know that if I can continue to play the same artist over and over, I will get a DCMA issue. So I'm going to play just an interview with called Interlingua. This is Buju Banton, and then I'm going to cut out and go back to our playlist after this. So thanks for joining me on Blazing with Buju. This was like a 40-minute show. I can't do a whole lot more than that because of DCMA limits. But I wanted to give some news about Buju. He is on tour again. I don't know what his tour schedule looks like. You're going to have to look up the official Buju Banton website for tour dates. Also on his Twitter, I think that's official Buju. on Twitter. And I've got an article coming up at Disruptarian.com, so check us out for future updates. And we'll do the show every week. This is every Wednesday at 4:20 p.m. Hawaiian, -10 UTC. So interlingua, and then back to our
first exposure to the dancehall came at the tender age of 11. After going into the dancehall and seeing artists such as Sugar Minott and Youthman Promotion and other artists, Buju Banton, many more artists doing them stuff, and realizing that this is where I was heading in the future. Doing them stuff and realizing that this is where I was heading in the future.
All right. Thank you, Buju. And praise God for your return and your freedom. And hopefully you're not limited or hindered by this hiccup with your son. May God bless your relationship and heal you. Peace.